And today we'll do a meditation on discovering how intergenerational trauma is possibly impacting you. Go ahead and close your eyes and feel into the body. Feel the feet on the ground. Feel the weight of the body. And feel the breath as it moves in the belly. And without thinking about it, let an issue arise that you're struggling with, that you're not certain where it comes from and what you can do about it. And let that issue surface in your consciousness. And whether it is that you're struggling with self-worth, or whether there's a relational problem or a health issue, whatever it may be, feel where you find that it resonates in your body. Just let your attention be in the body and feel where you feel a constriction, discomfort. Perhaps it's a couple of places, but perhaps it's localized. You don't need to label it, just feel into it. And consider if this, what you regard as your own issue, whether it is of intergenerational origin. I will now guide you how to do that, and there is no right or wrong. Just notice what arises in your consciousness. We have so much more access to the origins of the issues that we're struggling with than we think. As we go ahead, don't judge anything. Don't dismiss anything. Don't treat things that arise as irrelevant. Just simply notice and let things unfold as they naturally do. So if you still feel the issue that you would like to investigate, and you still feel that as a localized area in the body, maybe around the body, give that a color. And let the color, just like that, arise in your consciousness. Now visualize in front of you your mother and her family of origin behind her, and your father and his family of origin behind him. And it doesn't matter if you don't know these relatives, if you have no contact. Just simply notice if this color that you have identified around your issue, whether that's present on either side, with your mother or with your father. And here, just like with all questions that I will be posing, just allow the first thing that arises and go with that. Don't second guess. Don't let the mind interfere. And it could be that it's present on both sides, but just go with the one that seems strongest for now. And notice if the color stays with the one parent that you have identified, or whether it goes further back in the line towards your grandfather or your grandmother. Or perhaps someone comes into your awareness, like an uncle or an aunt, or a great uncle or a great aunt. Trust what arises. And the question that we're considering is, where is the origin of this issue? And if it is clear for you where the origin is, where it had started, stay a while with the person where it originated from. Consider, what fate did they have? Were they perhaps excluded from the family? If they were, there is a big chance that you are entangled with their fate, and that you are carrying subconsciously their difficult fate. And now is the chance to give that back with respect. And affirm that you see this ancestor. You see their heavy fate. And bring to mind what you do know about them, if anything. If you know anything about the circumstances of their life, what they had to endure, what they had to struggle with. And if you feel that it is a sense of exclusion, perhaps you feel drawn to an uncle, aunt, or great uncle or aunt that you don't even know. Welcome them. They have the right to belong. A family system ensures that everyone who has the right to belong does belong to the family system. And perhaps you know their name. Just call them by their name and say, "Dear ancestor, I see you, and I see your heavy fate. And I honor you as part of the family. And perhaps it feels right to add, and the responsibility for what you have done, I leave with you." And this is because exclusions usually happen for a reason. But whatever the reason is, it does not break the family bonds that bind the members of the family system together. So even though this relative may have a heavy burden or a heavy responsibility to carry, it is theirs to carry it. And feeling into how they would respond now that they have been seen by you, their rightful place in the family system recognized, their heavy fate recognized, and honored. And perhaps, if it's relevant, the responsibility for what they have done left with them. How do they look upon you now? Could they look at you and say, "I carry my fate. You do not have to carry it. And thank you for having seen me and recognized me"? Are these words that they would say right now to you? And irrespective of their answer, you can be very clear that you no longer carry the fate of a possibly excluded family member. You're no longer entangled with what is not yours. But your act of remembrance, your act of reuniting this person with the family, acknowledging their existence, acknowledging their fate, and perhaps their responsibility. Irrespective of whether they can carry it or they're willing to carry it. Is sufficient to break that link of entanglement. And leave now this relative in their rightful place within the family tree. If you are directly descended from them, you could thank them for the life that now runs in your veins, irrespective of what they have done. They have passed the life onto you. And for that you could be grateful. And as you resume your rightful place, with your parents in front of you and their ancestors behind them, feel into your body. Feel into this issue that you identified at the beginning of the meditation. How does it feel? Is there a feeling of lightness? Do you still see the color that you identified? Has it gone? Has it diminished? And if it feels appropriate, you can look towards your family line. And make a bow. And be aware of if judgment arises. Put that to one side. because of your ancestors and the life that runs through you has been passed on through them. And you can say, placing a hand on your heart, I carry only what is mine. I carry only my fate. And what I have carried for another, I leave there where it belongs. So now turn around so that your parents, your grandparents, great-grandparents and further ancestors are behind you. Turn around so that you face towards your life now. And see how it feels in that part of your body that we identified at the beginning. See how it feels in your feet as they're touching the ground. Does your body feel more grounded, more open? Does it feel like you've let something go that was never yours to begin with? And slowly open your eyes. And be aware of your surroundings. If you've done this meditation, it can go deep, so take your time. No need to rush to the next activity. Let it all settle. Perhaps you want to write some things down. Maybe some memories surfaced, or you have some questions that you would like to ask your family. Make space for that. And don't go into analysis. Let this process unfold in its own pace. You would have noticed that we're in touch with a much greater intelligence that has all the answers. And the art is in listening. So don't overthink it. Let the insights that you may have had settle in. Thank you for being with me and that I may accompany you on your journey.